Hey everybody, welcome to Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. I like to call this section Get Your Hands Dirty. The reason why I call it that is because we put together everything we've learned so far in this section, and we're going to make a little mini website out of it so that you can apply the skills you've learned. I find that's the best way of really picking up a skill. That's the way I learned it, and that's the way I think you should. So here we go. Open up your index.html file. You could see what we did in the last lecture. Let's totally wipe that out from scratch. Just delete it all. Blank slate. We're going to do everything from scratch. We're going to make a little mini website. And it's going to be really simple and it's going to be really ugly. But don't worry about it. It'll get better. This is what it's going to look like. I know it's not fancy, but don't worry. We'll eventually get there where you'll start making some really beautiful websites. But first, we're going to start by doing this in this lecture. Just as a quick note, you're probably curious why I'm viewing the website right here in my code editor. Well, the cool thing about Coda 2 for the Mac is it has a built-in browser. This is actually a browser right here. I can navigate to websites right here, hit refresh. I can go back and forward. So I don't actually have to open up this final website in my browser. I could just do it right here in my code editor. So I'm going to do that for this lecture and possibly for some of the future ones, if not all of them. So just don't be confused if you're curious why I'm looking at the website right here in my code editor. It's actually a browser. But you can use your browser if you're not using Coda 2 or a similar code editor. So index.html. Let's start by writing our HTML5 doc type. If you can recall, it looks like this. And below that, we're going to open our website with an HTML tag and close that HTML tag. Indent in one space, and let's add a head tag. Close the head tag. Below it, as a sibling to the head tag, we're going to add a body tag and close the body tag. You're going to want to add a page title to your website. So add the title tag within the head tag and give it a page title. Let's say, My First Awesome Web Page! Exclamation point. All right. And now let's have a look at the final website to see what we want to build. So it looks like we have a level 1 heading that says My First Web Page, and you can name it whatever. And then we have a level 2 heading with a paragraph. And this looks like this is using emphasis. This is a level 3 heading. Because it's a little bit smaller here, I can see how it works. This is a paragraph, a level 4 heading, another paragraph with strong emphasis. So you know how to do all of that right now. So let's do it. Within the body, indent in one space, you're going to add a level 1 heading. Give it the page heading, and we're going to just say My First Web Page. I'm going to change this actually to say My First Web Page just to be consistent with the final website right here. Just so you don't get confused. All right, next up, I believe we have a level 2 heading that says, I am learning HTML. And below that, we have a paragraph tag. Let's see what that says. HTML means hypertext markup language. HTML means hypertext markup language. And if you can recall how to do emphasis, wrap what you want in the text with an M tag for emphasis. All right, next up, I believe we have a level 3 heading. Why am I learning HTML? Let's add a level 3 heading. You know how to do that. Why am I learning HTML? And there's a paragraph, and under that that says, because I want to know how to build websites. Next up, level 4 heading. Learning HTML online is easy. Add your level 4 heading. Learning HTML online is easy. And we have a paragraph below that which says, I can learn at my own pace. I can learn at my own pace. And at my own pace is using strong emphasis. And you use the strong tag to add that emphasis. So save that and open your index.html file in your browser. I'm going to click preview, and this is going to show me what it looks like in a browser. So there is the website, the web page that you just coded with some HTML, and here's the final web page. so they look identical. Actually, I could see here how to make websites, how to build websites. That doesn't matter. It's just text. You can write whatever you want. So that's really it. That's everything for this getting your hands dirty lecture. Maybe I'll just go over a quick note here, just how I organize my HTML. I can have my HTML totally unindented and just like this. But as you can see, that's really hard to read. You can't see any sort of lineage when it comes to the parent-child relationship. You can't see what's related to what, and it's kind of messy. So I have everything tabbed, like so. I'm putting spaces between the headings and the paragraphs because it's easier to read. I could have it like this without any spaces in between, but again, that's really hard to read. It doesn't look clear to me. And you want your code to be clean and beautiful so that you can edit it easily without getting confused once you have hundreds of lines of HTML code. Or if you have another developer working on a website with you and your code looks like this, it's going to become a headache for him or her as well. So I just add spaces in between here, and they don't actually show up on the site. If I added crazy amounts of space here and saved, it won't show up because it's not HTML. It's just empty space here in the code editor. So this is how I organize my code. You can do the same. I encourage you to so that you can learn good practices when it comes to coding your HTML. So that's it for getting your hands dirty. I'll see you in the next lecture, my friends.